Tupac is known for his ability to address important social issues through his rap lyrics, and his social critique is one of the many qualities that make him an iconic and relevant artist in the hip-hop culture. In many of his songs, Tupac questions the values of American society and denounces the injustice and inequality that affect the African American community. I'm your host, James Shelton. This is the Melody Podcast.
Student, now we're ready to share stories of melodies that fill the air. From rock and roll to soul and everything in between. We'll take you on a journey, it's a sonic dream. Welcome to the Melody Podcast, where music comes alive.
One of the top-selling artists of all time, rapper and actor Tupac Shakur, embodied the 1990s gangster rap aesthetic, and in death has become an icon symbolizing noble struggle. Tupac began his music career as a rebel with a cause to articulate the still relevant troubles and injustices endured by many Black Americans. The boundaries between his art and life became increasingly blurred as Shakur faced legal problems and jail time. On his fourth album, All Eyes on Me, Tupac leaned fully into celebrating the thug lifestyle. It was the last album Tupac would live to see released. On September 7, 1996, the 25-year-old was gunned down in Las Vegas and died 6 days later. Police continued to investigate his murder. Tupac Shakur was born Lassane Parish Crooks on June 16, 1971 in New York City's Harlem neighborhood. His mother, Afeni Shakur, had been a political activist and Black Panther Party member who was arrested in 1969 for allegedly planning coordinated attacks on police stations and offices in New York City. She became pregnant with Tupac while out on bail, and she was acquitted in 1971 after defending herself in court. When Tupac was 1 year old, Afeni changed his name to Tupac Amaru after a Peruvian revolutionary who was killed by the Spanish. She said of the name, "I wanted him to have the name of revolutionary, indigenous people in the world. I wanted him to know he was part of a world culture and not just from a neighborhood." Tupac later took his surname from his sister Sekiwa's father, another Black Panther named Mutulu Shakur. Tupac also had a stepbrother, Moprum. Tupac's father, Billy Garland, lost contact with Afeni when Tupac was 5, and he didn't see his dad again until he was 23. He said, "I thought my father was dead all my life," he told the writer Kevin Powell during his interview with Vibe magazine in 1996. "I felt I needed a daddy to show me the ropes, and I didn't have one." Raising Tupac and his half-sister alone, Afeni worked as a paralegal before developing a crack cocaine addiction in the early 1980s. The family had to move often, struggling for money and living off welfare because she couldn't keep a job. In 1984, the family moved to Baltimore, where Tupac enrolled as a prestigious Baltimore School for the Arts, where he said he was the freest he ever felt. This was also where Tupac met the future actor Jada Pinkett Smith. He wrote poems about her and said she had a cameo in his music video for Strictly for My Blank. Pinkett Smith later told reporters that she was a drug dealer when she met Tupac, and that she resented the way the movie All Eyes on Me in 2017 later reimagined their relationship. It wasn't just about, "Oh, you have this cute girl and this cool guy, they must have been in this." Nah, it wasn't all about that. It was about survival, and it had always been about survival between us. Tupac's Baltimore neighborhood was riven by crime, so the family moved to Marlin City, California. It turned out to be a mean little ghetto, according to Vanity Fair. It was in Marlin City that Afeni succumbed to her crack addiction, a drug that Tupac sold on the same streets where his mother bought her supply. Her behavior led to a falling out between mother and son. Tupac's love for hip-hop stirred him away from a life of crime, for a while at least. At 17, in the spring of 1989, he struck up a friendship with Layla Sternberg, who he met when she was hosting poetry lessons in an Oakland park. According to Holler If You Hear Me, Searching for Tupac Shakur's by Michael Eric Dyson, Tupac had been obsessively writing poetry and convinced Sternberg, who had no music industry experience, to become his manager. She was eventually able to get Tupac in front of a music manager, Atron Gregory, who secured a gig for him in 1990 as a roadie and backup dancer for a hip-hop group, Digital Underground. He soon stepped up to the mic, making his recording debut in 1991 on Same Song, which soundtracked the Dan Aykroyd comedy Nothing But Trouble. Tupac appeared on Digital Underground's album Sons of P that October, after Gregory also became Tupac's manager. He landed the up-and-coming rapper a deal with Interscope Records a month after Sons of P hit the stores. After the month Sons of P hit the stores came Tupacalypse Now, Tupac's debut album as a solo artist. Tupac often complained that he was misunderstood. Everything in life is not beautiful at all, he told journalist Chuck Phillips. There is lots of killings and drugs. To me, a perfect album talks about the hard stuff and the fun and carrying stuff. The thing that bothers me is that it seems like a lot of sensitive stuff I write just goes unnoticed. As Tupac first began to achieve success as a rapper, Afeni was unaware of his career until friends told her. I didn't know what was happening to my son, she said. I thought, what am I doing? Afeni became determined to break out of her drug addiction, which she finally did after moving back to New York City in 1991. Tupac and his mother later reconciled and remained close the rest of his life. Tupac only released 4 albums in his lifetime, his 21 albums to his name. He has 21 albums to his name, 10 of which have earned platinum, multi-platinum, or diamond certification. As of July 2023, the Recording Industry Association of America listed Tupac as the 45th top-selling artist of all time by album sales and streaming figures. Worldwide, more than 75 million Tupac records have sold to date, according to Forbes. In April of 2017, Tupac was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of music's highest honors. He was the first solo hip-hop artist to be inducted and was selected in his first year of eligibility. In August of 1992, Tupac was attacked by jealous kids in Marlin City. He drew his pistol but dropped it in the melee. Someone picked it up, the gun fired, and a 6-year-old bystander, Quad Walker Teal, fell dead. Although Tupac wasn't charged for Walker Teal's death, he was reportedly inconsolable. In 1995, Walker Teal's family brought a civil case against Tupac but settled out of court after an unnamed record company, thought to have been Death Row, offered compensation between $300,000 and $500,000. In October 1993, Tupac shot and wounded 2 white off-duty cops in Atlanta, one in the abdomen and one in the buttocks, after an altercation. However, the charges were dropped after it emerged in court that the policeman had been drinking, had initiated the incident, and that one of the officers had threatened Tupac with a stolen gun. Unable to escape punishment entirely, Tupac went to jail for 15 days in 1994 for assaulting a movie director, Alan Hughes, who had fired fired him from the set of Menace to Society for being disruptive. He faced much more serious charges in February of 1995 when Tupac was sentenced to between 1.5 and 4.5 years of jail time for sexually abusing a woman. The case related to an incident that had taken place in Tupac's suite in the New York Parker Madrian Hotel in November of 1993. Tupac maintained that he hadn't raped the fan, though he confessed to Vibe magazine journalist Kevin Powell that he could have prevented others who were present in the suite at the time from doing so. He said, "I had a job to protect her and I never showed up." While Tupac was in prison on rape charges, he was visited by Serge Knight, the notorious head of Death Row Records. Knight offered to post a $1.3 million bail Tupac needed to be released pending his appeal. The condition was that Tupac sign on to Death Row, which Tupac did. He was released from the high security facility in New York in October of 1995. Even as he was glorifying an outlaw lifestyle for Death Row, Tupac was financing an at-risk youth center, bankrolling South Central sports teams, and setting up a telephone helpline for young people with problems, according to Vanity Fair. Tupac's debut for Death Row, the double-length album All Eyes on Me, came out in February of 1996, with his new hip-hop group Outlaws, with a Z, debuting on the album. All Eyes on Me was an unapologetic celebration of the thug lifestyle. Dr. Dre, who had pioneered G-Funk with NWA, produced the album's first single, California Love, which went to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remains Tupac's best-known song. The third single from the album, How Do You Want It, also topped the chart within 2 months of its release. All Eyes on Me has been certified 5 times double platinum. It would eventually become diamond certified, reaching more than 10 million combined sales and streams. Before Tupac released his third album, he became a target. In November of 1994, he was shot multiple times in the lobby of the Manhattan recording studio Quad by 2 young black men. Tupac believed his rap rival Biggie Smalls was behind the shooting, for which nobody has ever been charged. Smalls always denied he knew anything about the incident. In 2011, Dexter Isaac, a New York prisoner serving a life sentence for an unrelated crime, claimed music executive James Henchman Rosemond paid him to steal from Tupac and that he shot the rapper during the robbery. In June of 1996, Tupac released a diss track, Hit 'Em Up, aimed at Biggie Smalls and his label boss at Bad Boy Records, Sean Diddy Combs. The song ratcheted up the tension between East and West Coast rap. In the song, Tupac also spat venom at artists Lil' Kim, Junior Mafia, and Prodigy of Mobb Deep. Tupac and Biggie's rivalry was fast becoming hip-hop. Hit 'Em Up seemed to chillingly presage Tupac's death and ensuring the conspiracy theories. Grab your Glocks when you see Tupac, call the cops when you see Tupac, who shot me, but your punks didn't finish, now you're about to feel the wrath of a menace. Within 3 months, Tupac was murdered. 6 months after that, Biggie was too. Along with his music, Tupac pursued an acting career. He appeared in several movies, among them starring roles alongside Janet Jackson in 1993's Poetic Justice and Mickey Rourke in 1996's Bullet. After Tupac died, a collection of poems he wrote before becoming a rapper was also compiled and released in a 2000 book called The Rose That Grew from Concrete. The world moves fast, and it would rather pass you by than to stop and see what makes you cry, reads one verse he wrote as a teenager. Tupac briefly dated pop star Madonna. However, while serving time in prison in January of 1995, Tupac wrote a letter to Madonna ending their relationship because of her race. For you to be seen with a black man wouldn't in any way jeopardize your career. If anything, it would make you seem that much more open and exciting, he wrote. But for me, at least, in my previous perception, I felt due to the image I would be letting down half of the people who made me what I thought I was. Tupac married Keisha Morris in April of 1995 while he was still in prison. The couple had met several months earlier at a nightclub when Morris was 20 and Tupac was 21. Their marriage was annulled 10 months later after Tupac was released from jail. The pair remained friends until his death. Soon after his marriage to Morris ended, Tupac began dating Kidida Jones. They had met at a club when Tupac apologized for insulting her father, Quincy Jones, for only dating white women. Jones was in Las Vegas with Tupac the night he was shot. On September 7th, Tupac was in Las Vegas with Serge Knight to watch a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand Hotel. There was a scuffle after the bout between a member of the Crips gang and Tupac. Knight, who was involved with the rival Bloods gang and members of his entourage, piled in. Later, as a car that Tupac was sharing with Knight stopped at a red light, a man emerged from another car and fired 13 shots, hitting Tupac in the hand, pelvis, and chest. Tupac later died at the hospital. His girlfriend, Kidida, and his mother, Afeni, were both with him in his final days. Tupac died of gunshot wounds in 1996. However, conspiracy theories have raged ever since he was shot because his murder has never been solved. Fans have speculated that Tupac faked his death. On his song Life Goes On, Tupac rapped about his funeral. His song I Ain't Mad at You was released 2 days after he died. There have been several reported potential Tupac sightings since his death, including in 2012 by Kim Kardashian. In September of 2017, music executive Serge Knight hinted that Tupac might be alive in an interview. When I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. I didn't see how someone can go from doing well to doing bad, he said, adding that with Pac you never know if he could be alive and living in secret somewhere. In November of 2017, A&E aired the 6-part Biography Presents Who Killed Tupac, which followed civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump on his investigation into the key theories behind Tupac's 1996 killing. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a former member of the Crips street gang, was arrested and indicted on 1 count of murder on September 29, 2023 for his role in the 1996 killing of rapper Tupac Shakur. Davis previously claimed in 2018 that he was inside the car from which the fatal shots against Shakur were fired, but the gun was in the hands of his now deceased nephew Orlando Anderson. Davis was indicted by the grand jury in Clark County, Nevada, and is in custody according to prosecutors. The arrest comes after the Los Angeles Metropolitan Police Department executed a search warrant at a home in Henderson, Nevada in July of 2023 in connection with the rapper's unsolved murder. Tupac's top 5 songs. Number 1, California Love with 750 million streams. Number 2, Ambitions as a Writer, 746 million streams. Number 3, Hit 'Em Up, 620 million. Number 4, All Eyes on Me with 600 million. And number 5, Changes with 540 million streams. Rapper Tupac Shakur is an iconic figure in the hip-hop culture, and his legacy remains relevant in today's popular culture. Through his music and his activism, Tupac became a voice for the black community and a symbol of resistance and struggle against oppression. His lyrics address topics such as poverty, violence, racial discrimination, and social injustice, and his rap style is recognized for his ability to blend poetry with aggression and rawness. His impact on popular culture has transcended the realm of hip-hop and influenced different generations of artists and activists. Additionally, His figure has been the subject of numerous documentaries, books, and academic studies analyzing his influence and legacy in contemporary popular culture. Tupac Shakur is an essential figure in the history of hip-hop, and his legacy will continue to inspire future generations of artists and activists. Remember, you can check out the full biography of Tupac and other artists at shopmelody.com. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating of 5 stars, leave a comment, leave a voicemail. Check us out on social media at the Melody Pod, and visit shopmelody.com to become a member and purchase some podcast gear. Thanks for listening. Thank you for supporting Melody Media and the Melody Podcast. I'm your host, James Shelton. I'll see you next time.